going on, guys? Whoops. Okay, there we go. Sorry, my face camera was a little bit lower. Apologize about that. I hope you're all doing well. Hopefully you're all having yourselves an awesome night. My name is Jason Joseph. This is Play by Play with JJ. If you guys are brand new to my channel, don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe, hit the bell icon as well, so that way you know when I upload. There's a lot to be said about this Phillies team as we talk about this the Phillies Mets series recap, and we'll definitely dive into those things, but I just wanted to make sure that you guys remember to like and subscribe and to do all that jazz before we get underway. And now with that being said, let's talk about the Phillies, because in all honesty, I'm really ticked. I'm really pissed off with this team, and I never thought that it would get to this level as quickly as it has right now. I don't know where to start. This team has struck out over 50 times over the last 5 games. Over 50 times! You can't make this up. You would think to yourself that at one point, at some point, this team would just do a lot better with runners in scoring position, and they would get runs home. But no, they turn back into their true colors, into the 2023 Phillies, and they find ways to lose every single time against the Mets. And it's not even just against the Mets. This is how they've been the entire season, and I am literally ready to just explode on this team because I'm so frustrated. It's annoying. You know what really ticked me off today? And I didn't even want to start over here, but this is what I wanted to say. I'm listening to Rob Thompson's press conference after the game is over, and one of the things that he pointed out was that if you look at the 3 teams that made it to the World Series from the National League over the last 3 seasons, you would see that they were that they had really bad first halves. I don't care about that. I care about the product that I see every single day from that field, from the diamond. Why are we bringing this up? You know what that is? That's like Joel Embiid basically saying, after Game 7's loss, James and I can't do this by ourselves. That's making excuses. There's no accountability there, and it's so frustrating. It just really ticks me off. And I don't know how to respond to that. The players have to be better. The players are the problem. They're the main problem. They're not executing. Rob has not pushed the right buttons, and that's a whole nother thing, but it starts with the players. You basically had this team assembled to the point where you could have a lot of power in that lineup, and you could do a whole lot of damage at the plate. I haven't seen anything from Trey Turner except for the game-tying 2-run home run against the Cardinals. The Diamondbacks, not Arizona Cardinals. I'm still on football right now. I don't even know why. Because this baseball team is really awful. They're giving us a garbage product out there every single freaking day. How much longer can you put up with this? This team can't hit with runners in scoring position. Trey Turner has been putrid. And shame on me. Shame on me for thinking that the 2-run home run was where the demons were coming out of his skull. There was a stat that was shown today on NBC Sports Philadelphia that the last time that Trey even had a hit in the first inning was like May 16th against the San Francisco Giants. You want to know why he's not stealing bases? Because he's not getting on base. You want to know why he's not getting on base? Because he's chasing after every single pitch. Oh my gosh. It's just brutal, man. It's terrible. I'm not going to be as tough on Kyle Schwarber, even though I know he has to be a lot better. The strike 3 call today, that was bad. But you know why you got that call? Because you're not earning the respect at the plate that you should be earning. Okay? When LeBron James doesn't get called for fouls, sometimes, like, I've noticed that he can be in a little bit of a slump, and he's not getting those calls because he's in that slump. Okay, he doesn't earn those calls. Maybe that's a really bad example. But like James Harden is probably a better example. If you're not getting the respect from the refs, sometimes it's just because you're not balling. It's because you're not doing your job. And Kyle Schwarber right now is not doing his job. Trey Turner's not doing his job. The only person that has done a really good job, well, there's really two people. There's only two people. And it's Bryce Harper and Nick Castellanos. And that's it. Everybody else has been brutal. And it's just so painful to watch. The reason why your pitching is starting to get more emphasis and the defense is starting to get more emphasis is because you're not doing your job at the plate. You're not putting up good at-bats. You're chasing after pitches. And Max Scherzer, I don't care if he's an ace out there. I don't care if he's dominating because he is a really good pitcher. But with what you've been doing over the last 5 games or so, and pretty much throughout this entire season, you're not playing winning baseball. You're chasing after pitches. You're not showing good enough plate discipline, right? You're not putting the ball in play when it matters. And that's why guys are getting stranded. Larry even said today, and I thought it was really funny, and I didn't even want to go there because, it was still early on, but in the first inning, they got 2 runs. He even made a point and put up some sarcasm and was like, hey, I guess that they avoided scoring with runners in scoring position, and they didn't have to even get a hit. He's not wrong. He's not wrong. Oh my gosh, this team is just so brutal. Last night's game, I'm watching it, okay, and there were 5 times. Well, actually, no. It was in 4 out of the last 5 innings. This team left runners in scoring position, and not only that, but they left runners over at first and second. And yet they could only get 1 run, and that was just on a Edmundo Sosa home run that just hit the fence out in left field. One of the umpires didn't even realize it was just a home run and thought it was a double. They only scored 3 runs in this series. None of them were with runners in scoring position. They've struck out 50 times, at least 50 times, over the last 5 games. You just cannot make this up. When is this going to end? They couldn't even make it to second base in game 1 of this series. You know how hard that is to do? Couldn't even make it to second base. In what world? With this lineup that's out there, with all these all-star players on paper, Trey Turner, Bryce Harper, Kyle Schwarber, Nick Castellanos, Bryson Stott, Alec Bohm, and we'll get to Alec Bohm in just a little bit. But you know what I'm saying? How much longer can we put up with this? The pitching wasn't really such a bad thing in this series. I can't go all out on the pitching. The pitching hasn't been consistent, and Taijuan Walker today looked a little bit shaky, and we'll get to him in just a few moments. But the main reason why you're losing these games is because you're not building off of what you should be doing, what your brand, your bread and butter is supposed to be. You're not utilizing that to your advantage, and you're just letting runners in scoring position. You're keeping guys on base. I heard a stat today. Actually, it was yesterday, that the Phillies have only had 2 3-run home runs this season and only 1 grand slam. You would just think that with the offense that they have, that wouldn't happen. I didn't even say JT Realmuto. I didn't even bring up his name. He's been really struggling. But it's just at bat after at bat after at bat. they'll get a base runner on. And then after that, it's just like they're not patient at the plate. And you're not getting those calls like what Kyle Schwarber should have gotten today because you're not earning that respect. Put the ball in play and make things happen. But you got to be smart about that too. I was pissed off when JT Realmuto stole and tried to go to second base, man. In that 8th inning of the first game, I understood the philosophy, but in what world are you running in that situation? You're still in the ball game. It's 1-0, and yet you don't want to make that out. These fundamentals suck. But again, we knew that the defense was going to have problems. Trey Turner has not been good defensively. Brandon Marsh has had some pretty good moments. Kyle Schwarber hasn't really been the best defensively either. Okay, Alec Bohm hasn't really been so good. Edmundo Sosa almost had a really high throw today, and thankfully Cody Clemens was able to keep it on the bag, keep his foot on the bag. But we knew that those things were going to be problems. We just did not anticipate that the hitting would be as brutally awful as it is. And I want to make sure that I emphasize that. Was Sir Anthony Dominguez really bad in the first game? Absolutely. Okay. Was Taijuan Walker not at his best? Yes, that's correct. Did Rob Thompson make some mistakes? He did. But at the end of the day, the batters aren't getting on. And when they are getting on, they're not getting any sort of support. And maybe, just maybe, you would think that if Aaron Nola had a little bit of run support, or if Taijuan Walker had a little bit of run support, they wouldn't press as much as they should. You don't think that that matters? I'm so tired of hearing over and over and over again that this team is right where they were last season and that they could just erase this and they can make it back to the World Series. That is a loser mentality. You're basically just letting Rob Thompson and the rest of this team off the hook. No, you have every right to be as mad as you possibly can be with what this team has been putting out there, because you know why? Because it's garbage. It's flat out garbage. It's awful. I think I'm letting a lot out of my system, and I didn't realize how mad I really was. But look, when I'm calling games, man, I treat it like a broadcast. This is the sports talk radio version of JJ, right? This is the personality part of JJ. I mean, well, maybe the sports talk radio personality part of JJ. The broadcaster part of JJ is a whole different animal compared to this guy. I speak the truth as it is. And when I'm watching this team, they look lifeless out there some of the time. And you know what? I was actually thinking to myself, why isn't Kyle Schwarber, trying to get tossed or something? Because, you need to provide some sort of a spark, man. I understand that Bryce Harper tried to do it against the Colorado Rockies and that type of thing, and Rob Thompson was trying to do it against the Arizona Diamondbacks when the Phillies were down at that point. It was 5-3 in the ninth, but there's just no life in this team. It's awful. I as a fan, I literally just can't look at these guys. Every time I see the lineups now, I'm just ew. This team has 30 losses on the season. They got swept by their arch enemy. If there's two teams in sports that I cannot stand, really three: the Dallas Cowboys, the New York Mets, and the Boston Celtics. Pittsburgh Penguins are probably 4. Just disgusting. That's the type of display that you put on at Citi Field in New York. Brutal. Absolutely brutal. I want to take your calls, though. I want to make sure that you guys come on here to voice your own opinion, because this is going to be a therapy session for you and I. Because we have every single right to vent about this team and what we're not seeing, because we spent so much money on these guys. We did. This was the expectation. We thought that coming into the season that this team looked even better than last year's World Series roster. And they're not playing like it. The injury bug has certainly been a problem, but that's not an excuse. Bryce Harper has been back, and he's been, we thought that he was going to put this team on his back and that the team was going to be a lot better. Bryce can only do so much. Okay? He can only do so much. I don't know what else to tell you. But they're not playing good baseball. And it can change. It definitely can. But if your mentality is, well, it's still early, I don't know what to tell you. Like, how can you watch these games and literally say to yourself that this is fun? It's not fun. I'm still calling these games. I love calling baseball games. Like that's really cool. But as a fan, I'm not enjoying this. I'm aggravated. All right. So, let's pull this up right here. If you guys want to come onto the Discord server and give your thoughts about this team, please make sure that you join the Discord server down below, and I'll totally get to your thoughts. Before I open this up to you guys, though, also you can definitely feel free to chat on here. I wanted to acknowledge Ranger Suarez because there are a couple of positives that I did take out of this series, and even though not a lot of it are good or a lot of it's bad, Ranger looked good. Ranger looked really good. Okay, Nola wasn't bad. Nola wasn't bad. Was he a sharpest? No. I'm still kind of concerned about Aaron Nola. I can't deny that. I also am a little concerned about Zach Wheeler, too, even though he didn't pitch in this series. But the main problem that I have is that the offense just cannot get timely hits. And that is your bread and butter. That was basically what this team was built off of. Power, extra base hits, and getting runs home. They're not doing that. But Ranger looked really good. I'm happy that Jose Alvarado has been making progress, and he's having a rehab start. I think that that's awesome. Right? Those are positives. Castellanos today was definitely a big positive. He got on base 4 times. He looked really good. I was really happy to see that. Bryce is continuing to hit the bat really well. It's just other guys have to step up. The bullpen, I thought, did a pretty good job overall, except for Sir Anthony Dominguez. There's a positive right there. But what can I attach onto where I can say, oh, this team is now going to go really far, or they're going to go on a big run now? I really thought that the Trey Turner home run was that moment, and shame on me for thinking that. Because then they just fall flat on their back, and they go back to their old ways. And they do it against the stinking Mets. Ugh. Horrible. Absolutely horrible. Alec Bohm goes on the injured list. It'll be very interesting to see what Rob Thompson decides to do. Edmundo Sosa is probably going to be getting a lot of playing time over at third base. But then I go back to this question. Is this whole Alec Bohm injury, is that even a big deal right now? Because I know it's a big deal. But just where my mind is right now, am I more worried about Alec Bohm? Or am I just disgusted with this team? I feel more disgusted with this team than I do feeling about Alec Bohm. And I hope Bohm comes back because that is that's definitely a piece for sure. And he has to get healthy. I understand that. My gosh, can I just, feel the way that I'm feeling? Are you guys feeling the same way too? I want to hear what you guys have to say. Let's get to some comments. And also, don't forget to come on and give your thoughts on this team on the Discord server. Okay, let's look at some comments here. Jacqueline says, for real. Yep, for real. This team has, the stretch is not going to get any easier. It's not. It's really not. This team, even though they're playing the Washington Nationals and then they face the Detroit Tigers, they're going to have some tough games coming up. You need to make sure that you're taking care of business with the teams that are right in front of you. Just go out there one game at a time. But the patience is really starting to get to me, and I'm sure it's getting to everybody else too. But now's the time. Step up. Make the at-bats count. My main goal for today was to have Max Scherzer work for his pitches. It just took over. The thing that he had going for him tonight was that he was getting guys to chase, and this is the chasing Phillies 2023 team. They're just swinging and hacking at pitches. If it's out of the strike zone, I don't care where it is. It could be way up high. You're not going to get on base if you're doing that. It's not cohesive baseball. It's not fun baseball. And I'm sure that guys are upset about it in the locker room, but there needs to be a message. And if not, Dave Dombrowski is going to have to make some changes. I don't give him a lot of, I give him a lot of credit for the team that he put together. This team should be more than capable of finding a way to get out of the slump. It's what they're built off of. And that's what they got to do. What happened, man? I actually like this Phillies team. I did too, coming into the season, but they're literally just ripping out everybody's hearts. And I hate feeling this way. I do. It sucks. Right when the Sixers lost in the second round against Boston, I kind of wish that the Phillies were just right there and would have been there to support me. And just be okay, we're going to go on an 8-game winning streak just for you because we know how bad the Sixers have been. No, they don't do that. They don't care. Instead, let's just strike out over 50 times over our next 5 games and give JJ the double bird. You can't make this up. The runners in scoring position continues to be a problem. They're also not playing small ball at a good rate that they should be. But that's what happens. Again, that's what happens when you're not getting on base. And when you don't have the talent to figure out a way to get the small ball to work, the power needs to come. So, I don't care if the Padres or if the Mets are struggling right now. I don't care what point it is at the season, okay? I don't care about any other division. I care about my team. I totally care about my team, and I only care about my team. I want to see a winning product out there. That's all I ask for. Texas thinks that the Phillies will be there in the postseason again like the Padres. I hope so. I really do. Because this is not a winning style of baseball. And you can't just rely on this every single season. And the fact that your manager, literally came out there and just basically said, that if you look at the last 3 teams that made it all the way to the World Series, they did not have good first halves. Do I want to hear that right after the game? No, I do not. That's coming up with excuses. There's no accountability. There's no ownership. And something has to be said in that locker room. All right. I think that we ran it a lot on here. How much time have we been going on? Let's see. Let's see. Let's refresh this. All right, it's been 26 minutes. I'm going to leave you all on this note. Yeah. You didn't hear him say that. I did. I listened to his press conference after the game. I was really pissed off when he said that. I really was. He said that he actually also said too that yesterday that he thought that the Phillies put up really good at bats compared to the day before. Do you think I want to hear that too? No. I don't, because I care about winning. That's all I care about. I don't care about anything else. If you win the game, you win the game. Just win these games. That's all that matters. You could put up really good at-bats, but yet again, like, if you're grounding out, if you're lining out, I don't care how you're getting out. If you're hitting the ball hard, you're getting out. That's like saying that I almost did this. Like, I almost finished my homework, when in fact I didn't finish my homework. That was the truth. That was the result. Maybe Reese needs to come in and have a talk with them. Well, it's funny how we're trying to, latch on to other things, and figure out like when Rhys Hoskins is going to come back, because everybody now forgets. And I love Rhys Hoskins. Okay, the highs are so high with Rhys Hoskins. They are. But those lows, I don't miss those lows, man. I don't miss those lows. Remember when Aaron Boone said that the wind caused the Yankees to lose in Game 2 of the ALCS? It's the same thing. It's the same exact thing. Okay, the umps were terrible today. The blue was awful behind the plate. But you're not getting those calls because you're not earning those calls. It's as simple as that. I was frustrated with the blue, but then I think about it after the game, and I'm like, what does Kyle Schwarber have to, like, why should he be complaining? He's not putting up good at-bats. I understand. I get it. It was a bad call, but you're not earning those types of calls. All right. I think I'm starting to go on a broken record sort of a rabbit hole, and I don't want to keep doing that. I don't like being stuck. I feel like the Sixers, when they lost, it made me stuck, and I feel like I'm witnessing the same thing every single freaking day with this ball club. And that's the curse of doing this every single day, is that when things are bad, they can go down a really awful spiral and just continue to have an awful snowball effect. But when things are really good, things go up. And they're fine. But anyhow, I don't think we had anybody in the Discord. Let me double check one more time. If you guys ever want to come on in the future to the Discord server and give your thoughts about this team, please make sure that you join the Discord server down below. You can also hop into the voice chat, and I'll take your calls, and you can give your thoughts about this team and do that. We're also going to be going on tonight at 10:30 to talk about the hiring of Nick Nurse for the Sixers and talk about what he had to say today during the press conference, because I think that he put out some interesting stuff, and we'll talk about that later tonight. I want to thank you all so much for all the love and the support you guys have given me. I'll read this last comment. Aaron Judge's fly ball was caught by Kyle Tucker, and it was cheating by the stadium and wind conditions. Yeah, like, no accountability. That's what ticks me off. All right. But yes. All right. I love you guys so much. I'll be back on tonight, and then we'll still do the Phillies game tomorrow. Obviously, we're going to be doing every single Phillies game, whether they win or they lose. But this is just the sports talk version of JJ that has come out. And that's what we do on here, when we do our Phillies post-series recap pods. All right, love you guys so much. Catch you all in the next one. Have a good night, guys. Peace.